Hey, thank you so much for joining my YouTube or podcast, however you're watching or listening to this. And we're continuing our book club. Thank you again and again for listening, watching. Please make sure you subscribe. Really appreciate that. And we have some amazing guests as well as content, so you don't want to miss any of it. And I want to welcome my good friend, Dr. Hakeem Collins. Thank you so much for coming today.
It's a blessing, an honor.
Nice. Hey, Hakeem, we're doing chapter 9 from Hey God, Can We Talk? And I wanted to check in with you and see kind of what your thoughts were. This is that Martha and Mary chapter. Just kind of have some thoughts about what you like, didn't like, questions. What were your observations?
Well, that chapter, Sarah, was really insightful. I love how you gave a contrast between Mary and Martha's personality. I love your story in regards to, your father being an extrovert in the family. And it's just like you personally is an introvert. And like me, I'm an introvert naturally. That's just kind of my personality. And to just see how Martha was just very, very busy. She was preparing, serving Jesus. She was just really active. And so to speak. And so, but looking at Mary on the flip side, she was more emotionally engaged. She was, and this is with, having this dialogue with Jesus, having this conversation with Jesus, how these two women, sisters, their interactions were just very stark different. One, Mary being emotionally connected, really wanted to learn and sit at Jesus' feet. She wants to receive. She just connected in her own personal way. And so I can relate to Mary in that aspect because, me being very busy, I got a lot going on in my life, ministry, and just trying to prepare. I can understand Martha's personality to a certain extent. But for me, just having a conversation with the Father, just having a conversation with God, I bring all of that to him. I want to learn. I want to engage. Me just, my devotional time with him. I'm emotionally connected. I'm emotionally, sometimes I'm, just wanted to receive. I'm humbled by just spending that time with him. And, whether it's worship, whether it's just reading the word, studying, I might just weep. It's something may have come across my mind that I went through during the week or during the day, or even before I even got into prayer. I can understand Mary's heart. I can understand her personality. She was emotionally connected. She was really, really engaged to have that type of conversation, especially where you can see Martha being one saying, hey, Jesus, my sister is not helping me, get her to help me, I'm doing all the work, I'm just this, in a sense, I don't want to say, but kind of a busybody in a sense. But that's just her. But I can understand Martha too. And I can say, me being an introvert, I can relate to her as well from that perspective because, I have a lot going on. I'm always trying to overachieve, Sarah. I'm always trying to get things done. The demands of life is always there. It's like I get 3 or 4 things done and people ask me, Hakeem, how do you get all that done? How do you find time to pray, right? How do you find times to spend time in the presence of God? And it seemed like, do you ever sleep? How do you get this chance to write all these books and be on all these amazing interviews like where I'm on now? How do you have that time? And so I can relate to Martha. I've been where Martha is, where I'm so busy oriented and ministry focused, and it's like, God, I'm doing it for you. I'm traveling and I'm ministering, I'm preaching and I'm writing. It's all for you. But if I take a step back, it's like sometimes I have to get these little prayers in when I'm in the shower, get these little prayers in when I'm in the car, get these little prayers in. It's like, is that enough? I'm just being honest with myself. Is that enough?
Yeah.
Then being like Mary, where I was just like, I want to spend, hours in his presence. I want to just, have this conversation with him and just this dialogue where he just, refresh me and, all of those things. So I can relate. I think you did an amazing job with that contrast. And you gave a good presentation, and this is what I got out of the book, and that particular chapter is, it's okay being yourself. It's okay of embracing your authenticity. It's okay, even those who are watching, it's okay to understand your personality and not fit into the mold of someone else. Because I've been there. Hey, I'm a twin. Sarah knows.
Right.
I'm a twin.
Right.
And God doesn't make any mistakes. And so me growing up, I had to learn my identity. And me and my brother are very different in many ways. We may agree on certain things, but we're different. And so my brother, by nature and by his personality, for example, he is very tranquil. He's very laid back. He's very like observant. His name is Hakeem Collins. Well, me on the other hand, surprisingly, and I said earlier, I'm an introvert, but surprisingly, I feel like I'm both. I don't know if you can be both, but it depends on what it is. But naturally, I'm an introvert. I just really just observant, quiet. I don't want to be bothered, and just kind of like stay in my own little cubicle, But on the other side, with my brother, people say I'm the outgoing, I'm the social butterfly, I'm the talkative one. I'm like, really? But it's with people that know me. And it's the
Right.
difference. And then it's those who know my brother, they can tell the difference between our personalities. And I will say this, to be honest with myself and just with those who are watching, me and my brother growing up, we used to have a lot of friction because we were trying to change each other. I was trying to make him me. Yeah. And he was trying to make him, me him. Yeah. And it doesn't work. Yeah. A more healthy dialogue with each other was basically understanding each other's differences and respecting each other, honoring each other, and understanding that God made us uniquely us. And I had to learn that it's okay to be different and it's okay to be me. So you did a great job. I don't want to do all the talking, but you did an amazing job with that contrast, and just with dinner with Jesus, just having that time where Martha was serving while Mary was at his feet.
Yeah. And I really appreciate, Hakeem, how you brought it in with your twin, because I think that's so fantastic. Like, learning, it's okay. It's good to be yourself, and let other people be who they are, and not try to change people or put them in a mold or, make them cookie cutter. So I really appreciate you sharing that, particularly as an example with your brother, because I think that in our families that really plays out. But I think it also plays out. Do you see this ever, like when you travel? So, because you go all over the place. You see this like when you minister, and do you ever see that where people try to like be somebody they're not, or they think they have to like perform, or, have you ever come across people that they're not comfortable in their own skin, and so then it makes everybody around them uncomfortable? Ever have that experience?
Yes, often. I mean, and to be honest with you, it really it's a soft spot because I've been there. I can relate. So it's easy for me to identify it. It's easy for me to see it. It was just really rough not having that father figure or that father influence to mold my identity, to mold, not to really change my personality, but just give me a better understanding or who I am and a better version of myself. And so when I'm traveling and I'm out, I see people, even young people, trying to subscribe to be someone else. Yeah. And they work hard to be someone else, and it's like they're taking on this false identity. They're taking on this personality, and it's almost like a spirit that I look at, like, wait a minute, that's not you. And I feel like they just need to be rescued and just need affirmation, and just really just Abba just breathing upon them. His identity, and because our identity is found in Christ, and I see that. And so my advice to them is be authentically you. Don't change or fit in the mold of anyone else. Don't be the better version of yourself, because the grace and the anointing works through your authenticity in the way he has fearfully and wonderfully how he created us. He created you unique. Yes, I have a twin, but we're different. And so when I see that, I do give them advice that, you are who you are. And in trying to be someone else, it really takes away from the fullness of your purpose and your destiny. You're gonna live, you're gonna experience mishaps. You're gonna experience levels of trying to obtain what they have and not really embrace what God has for you. He has something very unique for you. And so I do see that. And I usually pray for them, and that God will just renew them and strengthen them and just give them clarity of who they are, their identity and their purpose and their calling. And usually they say, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for, at least recognizing that. Cause I'm a truth teller at the end of the day. I mean, I just tell it like it is, in a loving way. You are who you are. And I like who you are. I like the way you talk, the way you speak, the way you are, and don't shift or change or adapt to another person or way.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. And I think I applaud you for stepping into that. Sometimes I get nervous and I won't step into it because I recognize it because I've been in it, more than once.
Yeah.
But I applaud you for stepping in and talking, having those conversations. And the other thing I do want to ask, just as we kind of wrap up a little bit here. So in this, Hey God, Can We Talk? The conversation starter for this chapter 9, is what I call Lectio Divina. That's that one where you like put yourself in the story and kind of let your imagination explore what that looks like. Do you have any thoughts about that whole idea of Lectio Divina in terms of a conversation with God?
Yeah. I like that. And you talked about something that even like the word relax. And rest and those things. I think to me that's important. Just understanding your identity, understanding your purpose, but putting yourself in a situation, putting yourself in a particular mode, you'll get a better understanding. You'll get a better perspective. Your paradigm will shift when you live it out, when you put yourself in a situation. And so I think that was very, very key, important for us to really just reflect on. I think that was, to me, that was really different. I never heard that before. So I think that was good for the chapter. But it was reflective. It allowed me to draw back and think about life situation, think about things I've been through and experienced, but also I put myself in other people's shoes, and if and how to process it. And how to understand it, because we don't know it all. I don't know it all. I don't, it seemed to know it all, but just really from a just sitting back and just seeing it from a distance, and then putting myself in a person's shoes or a situation, that experience gave me a better understanding of how to dialogue with the Father, how to converse and have that one-on-one with him, and what it looks like. I think it's better to see from different views, have a whole broader view than just this narrow-minded view. So I think that was really good. But rest and relaxing, and that was key for me. I know for me, I need to rest. I need to reflect on things, and it's powerful. So I think that was really, really good point in that book, in that chapter.
I appreciate that. And to that end, I was reading just this morning, about Samuel, and the leaders of Israel said, your sons, Samuel, don't walk in the same way you walk. And as I was reading it, I thought about like kids, and offspring. And so it was helpful, like just what you just said. I took a little moment to kind of reflect and to sit in it a little bit and think about it, and then I thought too, I was like, so Samuel, his mom brought him to Eli to serve in the temple. And I thought about Eli's kids, like Eli had Hophni and Phinehas, who also weren't super whippy kids, and so I appreciate, what you're saying, because I think we can do this. We can sit in some of the Bible stories that we know, and instead of just reading it like, words on a page, black and white, and get on, check the box. I think when we sit in it a little bit and just kind of take some time to relax and reflect, I think we can explore and really experience a lot of conversation with God that we didn't realize was available just in the pause. Does that make sense?
Um, yeah, if I can say, just interject real quick, that was good what you said, that there is the Selah times and Selah
Yeah.
moments. And that's what you just said, is to pause. You know, musicians know what Selah means. It's a pause in the
Yep.
or the break. And
Yep.
to sit back and just put yourself in those stories. And just like with Mary and Martha, even with their brother Lazarus dying, you know, I can reflect on that, and I can put myself in that situation, and I can remember having times that I was upset with the Lord and disappointed with Jesus, that he didn't come through when I wanted him to come through, and all those things, and just really realizing from both women how they felt. You know, there's been times where I wanted God to do something and I was emotional about it. I just fell at his feet and I'm like, Lord, you know, can you just come through? And he responded. He answered me. Then there was a time that I was like Martha. I came in that way, or that presentation before him, and it was like, is God there? Is he even listening to me? You know, I can't even find him. I can't even search him. But what he does, I believe, Pastor Sarah, is he puts a greater seek in us, because we seek him, we shall find him. And so sometimes you have to be like Mary, and sometimes you have to be like Martha, you know, if that makes sense. That's just for me. I put myself, like you say, I sat in these both women's story, and I was able to understand and got a better revelation and have a conversation with the Father.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And Hakeem, I totally love hanging out with you, getting to connect with you, eager to have you come back through and do some more interviews, and loved having you speak in our church. Totally like hanging out with you. So, and best of luck with all of the clothing stuff and design stuff that you're doing. I'm totally stoked. I remember thinking about that, hearing what you're doing and watching you on Instagram. I'm like, woo, go for it. That's a blast. So thank you again. Yeah. Thank you for subscribing. Everyone watching, listening, thank you. And of course, make sure you grab your copy. Hey, God, Can We Talk? Super helpful resource. Thank you, Hakeem. Helpful resource for having really robust, meaningful conversations with God. Thanks again and again, and have a great day. And we'll finish tomorrow with our last book club interview, so you don't want to miss it. It's going to be fantastic. If you haven't seen some of these, then go back and hit the beginning, and you'll have some interesting dialogue, see some interesting interviews with various people. So thank you again, Dr. Hakeem. Love your guts. Catch you later. Thanks. Boatloads.
Love you too. Love you too,
Ciao.
my friend. Bye-bye.
Ciao.